Welcome back to another explainer. Look, if you're focused on building an absolute fortress of a digital foundation for your organization, you are in exactly the right place today. We're taking a deep dive into Sama Heracles' rigorous Day 42 curriculum, all about information security governance. Sama's insights into audit, risk management, and internal controls are hugely respected in the industry, and we're going to break down his entire masterclass step by step. So get ready, because we're unpacking the framework you need to actually protect, manage, and govern your info assets effectively. What we're doing today is mapping out the entire landscape of InfoSec governance. We're talking every policy, every role, process, and control. It's a dense, highly technical space for sure, but we're going to untangle it piece by piece so you can walk away understanding the exact blueprint that ensures your data stays confidential, intact, and available when you need it. All right, here's our roadmap. We've got 5 main stops. First, defining InfoSec governance. Second, the principles and core framework. Third, roles and real-world examples. Then we'll hit checklists and common documents, and we'll wrap the whole thing up with the benefits and our ultimate key takeaway. Let's get right into it. Section 1, defining InfoSec governance. Okay, let's dive into this and lay the absolute foundation. Because frankly, you can't govern what you haven't defined. So what is information security governance, really? At its core, it's all about leadership. It involves the structures, policies, and decision-making processes that provide clear direction and oversight for managing information security. You know, a lot of people think of governance as just an IT problem. Actually, scratch that. It is fundamentally a leadership mandate. It ensures that the holy grail of security, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, perfectly aligns with their broader business goals and compliance requirements. Moving right along to Section 2, Principles and Core Framework, let's shift gears and look at the why and how, the actual rules that make this work in the real world. Under objectives, governance really has a few core missions. Obviously, it's about protecting the classic CIA triad: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. But it doesn't stop there. It's about ensuring those protections actively support your business objectives, manage security risks effectively, and guarantee strict regulatory compliance. All of these pieces work together to promote security awareness across the board, building a truly resilient culture. Now, why put all this effort in? Because the stakes are literally sky high. Proper governance is your absolute best shield against data breaches and reputational ruin. It ensures regulatory compliance, which keeps you away from those massive penalties, and it dramatically improves your incident response. The big takeaway here: governance isn't just defensive, it's a strategic enabler that completely enhances leadership decision-making. To pull this off, an organization has to adopt some key principles. First off, treat information as a strategic asset and take a risk-based approach to every single decision. It also means adopting a shared responsibility model. Everyone plays a part, and locking down permissions with the principle of least privilege access. Combine that with a relentless commitment to continuous improvement, due diligence, transparency, and accountability. Now you've got a framework with some real teeth. Think of these key components as your structural toolkit. It covers the whole shebang, from defining the rules through policies, to identifying threats with risk management, right down to building secure habits through employee awareness. It also covers the rigorous tracking of your resources via asset management, making sure only the right people get in with access management, and guaranteeing your business survives a hit through incident management. It's basically your ultimate structural checklist. And this brilliantly illustrates the information security governance framework. It's a continuous 5-step operational engine. First up, you govern, setting the direction and risk appetite. Second, you manage, planning and assessing risks. Third, you protect by implementing actual control measures. Fourth, you monitor, measuring effectiveness through audits. And fifth, you respond, fixing incidents and taking corrective actions. It's a never-ending loop of vigilance. Section 3, Roles and Real-World Examples. We've got the macro level down, so let's zoom in on the specific people and day-to-day scenarios. So who actually does what? Well, security is a shared, cascading responsibility. The board or management sets the ultimate direction. Then the CISO develops the strategy and manages the risks. Your IT and security teams are the ones physically implementing controls and monitoring systems. Meanwhile, process owners ensure those controls actually fit into their specific workflows. And finally, all employees are on the hook for following the policies. It cascades right from the boardroom down to every single login. In practice, governance looks like your typical Tuesday afternoon routine. It's conducting regular user access reviews, running third-party risk assessments, and surviving compliance audits. It's the steady rhythm of policy approvals, security awareness training, and incident reporting. These are the active, everyday motions that prove your governance is more than just a dusty binder sitting on a shelf. Let's look at a highly specific example: data access governance. Imagine an employee needs access to a system. They submit a request, which requires explicit manager approval. If approved, it moves to IT provisioning, which is strictly role-based, and finally, access is granted. The crucial thing here is that only authorized users get in based on business need, and regular reviews make sure that access is still required down the road. It's definitely not a set it and forget it kind of deal. Here's another example: incident response governance. When a crisis hits, governance dictates the exact life cycle of your response. Detect, report, assess and contain, resolve and recover, and finally, review and improve. Governance guarantees that incidents are handled fast, but more importantly, it ensures you're systematically learning from your mistakes so it doesn't happen again. All right, moving to Section 4, checklists and common documents. This is the actionable paper trail side of things that auditors absolutely love. To prove your framework is actually functioning, auditors are going to put you through a rigorous checklist. They're verifying everything. Your risk assessment? Checked. Asset inventory? Reviewed. They're validating access management, poring over incident logs, checking compliance, and reviewing awareness training. If you're genuinely following the governance framework, you'll breeze right through this list. But to survive that audit, you need a flawless paper trail. You need your overarching InfoSec and risk management policies documented. You need acceptable use and incident response plans. You'll also need data classification rules, business continuity plans, third-party security guidelines, the whole setup. These documents form the definitive rulebook for your organization, turning abstract ideas into hard, enforceable rules. Finally, Section 5, benefits and key takeaway. Let's summarize the incredible payoff for doing all this heavy lifting. When an organization gets this right, the payoff is massive. You're getting strong protection and reduced risk, absolutely. But you're also achieving continuous audit readiness and improved continuity. Better decision-making becomes totally ingrained in your culture. And most importantly, you build unshakable trust with your stakeholders. Trust is the real currency of modern business, and governance is what protects it. So here is your ultimate key takeaway from Samik Herakli's masterclass. Effective information security governance provides leadership, clear direction, and oversight to manage security risks, protect information assets, and support business objectives in a secure and compliant manner. It brings security out of the server room and puts it right into the boardroom. Ultimately, it all comes down to a simple equation: strong governance, plus defined roles and responsibilities, plus clear policies and processes, plus monitoring and review, plus timely response and improvement, equals secure information, a resilient organization, and a trusted business. Every single piece of this formula is absolutely required. So I'll leave you with this thought to chew on today. If you were to evaluate your own organization right now, does your security equation actually add up? Thanks so much for joining me in this explainer, and keep learning.